say that, hoping that would become the live. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you might be in the world. And I've not got the screen big enough to add whoever's just joined in down there. Here we go. Here's Ian. There we go. Right. Hello. Yes. Oh, that was very unprofessional as ever. Well, where should we start? There's only one. Well, first of all, we'll say congratulations to Richard and then forget talking to him, because in the room we've got the man who has the most contentious thing in the drone world. And of course, I'm not talking about Bruce just for once, because it is normally Bruce. But Jack, one half of Chrome's domes and drones, has one of those things. And what is it? Really, what is it? First, before, and no doubt there's going to be some questions from the audience. For sure. Can you unpack how that arrived in your life? How come you are the only YouTuber with one of those?
That is a great question. I don't have the best answer, but I can tell you how I ended up with it. Right. So I get emails from companies that I've never heard of all the time. They say, "Hey, will you review this drone or this YouTube or this Bluetooth light bulb or whatever?" You know, most of the time I ignore most of the emails, but I got this one from Specta and it said, "Hey, will you review this drone?" It's, you know, they talked about the 48 megapixel camera, the 46-minute flight time, the two cameras on it with the tele lens. And I thought, well, this is the Air 3. There's no way this company's making this drone that they're talking about. So I said, yes, send me this drone. I will review it, fully expecting it to show up and be, you know, a Temu drone with a 480p camera and brush motors or whatever. And then it showed up in this box. And it was this. Yeah. Well, this is it actually. And you know, it's obviously the very, very similar to the DJI Air 3. And as, you know, I test it, it becomes more and more apparent that that is, in fact, what this drone is. This is the DJI Air 3 with some very small differences.
So you're happy to say that, and you've not. Did they? Hopefully, it costs about the same as the Mini. No, because it's a Johnny. It's an Air 3, but I think they've got a smaller one coming. But they didn't give you restrictions as to what you could say. Oh, well, there's a white box.
That's the Mini one, which they did tell me they didn't want me to release because they're still working on their website and they wanted that to be finished. I can actually fly the Mini Specta yet because I don't have an app because it flies with this remote. But yeah, no, they didn't give me any restrictions or really much like direction. In fact, like I've asked them a ton of questions that they've just haven't answered. So it's kind of been really bizarre, right? So like this one here, this is actually a $1,200 brick. This one doesn't fly. I couldn't activate it. So they sent me a second one, which is what I've been flying, which is actually kind of nice because now I have two batteries. You know, I have a bunch of Air 3 batteries because I have an Air 3, but they don't work. And vice versa. I can't fly, you know, my Air 3 on the Specta battery. So yeah.
So can you see, are you going to, is Chris going to take that one that doesn't fly apart then to look at the boards?
He already did actually. And I posted that video, not on our YouTube. It's going to come out on our YouTube channel. I'll make it go live tomorrow, but I threw it on our website. So if people want to see the insides of this drone, and I don't want to ruin it, but it's the same on the inside as it is on the outside. It's very much a DJI Air 3.
Wow. It's quite a thing.
It just really is.
It's quite a thing. Now, Ian, have you put anything up on your site of pictures yet? I've forgotten what it's called, but I put a link on it on SES News. And I've forgotten what it's called.
No, actually, and I need to upload the stuff from the weekend onto there. Actually, I'll do that in a minute. I've got Specta teardown images coming sort of in hand now. I just need to deal with them and have a look at them. But yeah, look, what we have here is 2 drones, 3 drones with the green thing. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. But look, these are from our perspective, and this is the right wording to use. These are manufactured as DJI products. They contain components that are and have only ever been seen in DJI products. And something very specific about that is this, the P1 chipset. So DJI OcuSync is their crown jewels. That is their, camera drones you can make. You can get the sensors, you can get the motors, you can get the screens for the remote controllers. It's all commodity parts. What isn't is certain specific components that are in the DJI products. So the big one, and I've spoke about this a lot in the past, is the P1 chipset, which is their OcuSync. We firmly believe they actually designed the chipset, and that is in all of these drones as well. And that tells us one thing, that no one can just get that. That's not off the shelf. You can't go finding it. DJI have to give that to you. We also know that DJI is making the firmware. Now, this has not been admitted anywhere, but we know that is a fact. The firmware is hosted on DJI servers. Guys who have had access to places that DJI probably wouldn't like have already torn it apart and looked and gone, yeah, look, DJI, regardless if they admit it or not, is supporting this release in some way. It also seems quite minimal is the term I'll use. And Jack mentioned something interesting. He's struggling with answers. And what I suspect that is the distributor is the wording I will use, is they probably don't know a lot themselves. And that there's only so much they can say. What I think is a bit disappointing is they are being disingenuous in their comments, specifically that we are an entirely new drone company. It has nothing to do with any other drone company. That's frankly bullshit, as we can see, and there's no other way of saying it other than that. But it is interesting. It's the first time we've ever seen a DJI product that we didn't know was an official agreement. There is only one other, that is the Cadex Vista. For those who are into FPV, the Vista was sold by Cadex largely because it doesn't fully conform to some requirements. So DJI couldn't sell it under their own brand. Other than that, DJI have never done this white labeling before. That's probably the right term to use.
The Rise Telos, kind of an example.
Yes.
They were very upfront, like that was their product, but it was definitely a split. Yeah. So it's not totally a new thing, but this to this level absolutely is different.
Yeah, the Telo was a team you had the team that split off to the side based out of the RoboMaster project. In fact, those guys were part of the RoboMaster team, and then they split off and created the Telo. And as you say, it even had their name on the top of it, didn't it? And it, as you say, they've done stuff in the past where they've been very open. We have the Cadex Vista, a DJI product sold under the Cadex brand, all very clear. You had the Telo. This is murkier, is the term probably to use, because what's weird is you've got a company that doesn't have a website. They don't have anything other than an email address, yet they have a drone for sale on Amazon. It's quite bizarre, really, isn't it?
It is. And the more I think about it, the more I feel like this shouldn't be in my hands yet. Like I think someone said this to me that probably shouldn't have. It's coming, right? And I do think that the Specta drone, right, because this mini one tells I think a little bit more of the tale than actually the Air 3 does. It's so this, right, this is a configuration. You get this and the RC2 with the remote screen, and it's $100 more than the Air 3, right? So is it cheaper? Not really, but kind of, because that's the package I think most people probably want but can't get from DJI. But as they release the mini drone, right, this drone's going to be, I don't know, but I'm going to guess $300 or less. And that's the market where, lots of people want to buy drones. And that's like the entry point. And, the mini drones from DJI at that price point are really good. Really good for beginners, for people that, I just need something to take out on vacation with me and shoot at the lake or whatever. You're going to get really good pictures and images out of that $300 drone versus like something you're going to buy on Amazon, from Holy Stone or Roku or whatever. So I think that what they're trying to do is create that lower tier drone that can make some sales up that DJI is maybe missing out on. Maybe people don't want to buy from DJI because they hear, the ban coming, or, it's this horrible company, or some people just don't like the big manufacturer, the top dog. Some people just want something different. I don't know.
Yeah, it's amazing. And so but it's a tale of two halves, or it's a game of two halves, isn't it? Because we see this one and the smaller version, and then we see the green one, which on the face of it's two completely different things.
Different market.
Well, yes, yeah, absolutely. But it's like, I don't know, Bob, you go off and do that one. Dave, you go off and do that one. You set up a shell company like this. You set up a shell company like that. I mean, are they coming out of the same thing, or is it just a coincidence that they both seem to have gone through the FCC at about the same time, and they're completely separate? Yeah, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the green one, Ian? Or in fact, Jack? Sorry, I'm sorry, Jack, I've been rude.
I think it's kind of the same thing, right? So here in the US, there are many agencies, right, that want to get their hands, but cannot, because DJI specifically is a banned product in certain municipalities, right? So if I wanted to say, I don't know, a thermal drone, I wouldn't care if it was green. If I can get my hands on it, right, it's the best package, right, in terms of bang for your buck for a thermal drone that you can get, right? So why not make another one, right? I don't know where that company is based out of. Is that shell company?
That's Delaware, isn't it? Which
Delaware. Yeah, that's right. So it's
there's tax advantages to that, isn't there?
In the United States, yeah, sure. I think Delaware has more LLCs or corporations than any other state, but yeah, then it's a U.S. based company, right? Like Exo Drones was once upon a time. So it's this interesting game. So even if they, this drone might get banned eventually, it certainly would skirt the rules for some people for some period of time. I think maybe that's part of the game.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
it's clear that if it's this, they're clearly worried. Because what's odd about it is they've never really done anything about, the possible bans, the noise. If it is because of that, for them to go this far, they are clearly worried that it's having an effect now.
Or they're just covering their bases. Yeah. Right. So why not see if they can get some inroads just in case? I think that I mean, listen, if I was running a business, I think that would be wise. I have all of this inventory that, I need to clear. Why not send it to another company? I'll make a few dollars selling my inventory, and you can resell it, right? They're just, that's one that, if nothing else, they're covering their bases, and, they take a smaller profit on the extra inventory that they have, and they let somebody else sell it for them, basically. Who knows?
And is there any hint on yours? Actually, it's the inside one that's got the dreadful pictures that you pointed out in your stream, Ian. Is there any hint that yours is actually made in Malaysia, and the boxes or anything, in the actual physical stuff?
Let's see. Made in Malaysia. It says on my tag here.
It says it on the tag, yeah.
Funny, they all have said it. Yeah.
I know they have. I know. Jack's actually got one. That's the difference, though. The tags on all these FCC things can say whatever they like, can't they?
This remote actually says made in Hong Kong. No. The company's Hong Kong, made in China.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
That is interesting. I was reading a little bit today about, because this Specta company is based in Hong Kong, which I know is in China, but for years we treated Hong Kong as its own entity, and then in 2019 I know that changed, but this also says made
Britain,
in China.
old boy, Britain. Britain. It was right. England,
well, it was until like 97 or something, but I think 2 years ago the World Trade Organization said that we can't say that if something is made in Hong Kong that it's made in China. We have to say that it's made in Hong Kong. I don't know. It was just I read 2 articles today on the internet.
Okay.
So it must be true, right? Because it's on the internet. But I don't know. There's something there. Maybe not.
And Ian pointed out in his stream last night, it's rather delightful how how they've just painted the green one, and how they hacked into the arm to get at that sensor as well. So the green one is interesting, and of course, coming up the back end of next month is the AUVSI show. So I wonder if these aren't going to be pulled out by a company as their way forward to whatever they need to do. Look, we've had a licensing agreement. We've made sure they weren't made in China, etc., etc., etc. That's this green one. The one you've got, Jack, I don't know, or the ones you've got, I don't know what the story there is.
Well, there are less regulations for guys like me to fly in the United States than there are for companies that would use a thermal drone, right? So I'm not a police officer. I just teach high school kids.
Well, do you think that's why they chose you then? Get the teacher.
I don't think they know what I do.
Fair enough. Surely. Well, you've done very well. Oh, look, Ian's turned away and he's advertising his chair, and he's. Oh,
sorry, I'm just I'm monitoring a 3D print that's going on at the same time because I'm having some problems. So, yeah, I think it's rather interesting. The whole thing, look, in the end, we now know what it is. We now know where they're from. From a consumer point of view, would I buy it? Probably no. Not with the warranty situation, not with the fact you can't get key refresh. If you look at what DJI does do, what they're very good at is they have an ecosystem. They have these days some of the best warranty support in the market. And I don't mean that in drones. I mean, period. DJI have really upped their game. I remember I've been around since 2000 and, well, how long now, Gary? 12, 13. We've all been rattling around longer than doing this, I mean, let alone the older stuff. And, there were times where DJI didn't have warranty. Today, they are right up there with the very best companies in the world. If you have a problem, a lot of the time they'll even fix it out of warranty for free. You still see posts with people saying that every day. Specta, if it's the same product, okay, as Jack rightly said, it might give some outs for people who are doing stuff where the DJI name is a problem. I'd still buy the DJI if that wasn't the case. That's the reality.
Yeah, it's hard, it's hard for me to recommend this drone. It's $1,200, and for that reason, Amazon actually is great in terms of reviews or returns and stuff. So there is some of that, from the American consumer point of view. Like, I can buy that on Amazon, but I could also buy DJI from Amazon, right? So there's that's kind of a wash. Their website or their on the Amazon page, I think it's a 1-year warranty, but again, it's untested, and who knows? And is it covered by DJI? But the Mini, that's a different story, right? If the Mini flies and it flies as well as a DJI Mini and it's less than $300, then I would recommend that thing all day to people. Like that is a drone, because otherwise what are they're buying, like a C-Fly Mini or a Fimi Mini or Potenzic Mini. Like, they're fine, they're okay, but they're also $300. And if this one's got the DJI guts inside of it, I would tell people to buy that one. And if the Specta thing keeps up, and in a year, maybe I'll be telling people to buy the Specta Air, because it comes with the Specta RC, not the DJI RC2.
It's going to be interesting to see how if DJI decide to cannibalize themselves with that Mini. That's the really interesting one. If they were all, if you think that if that Air was $300 cheaper, $200 cheaper, it would be a no-brainer with the Amazon protection as well. You'd sit here. But the only thing to concern about is then future software updates. Again, DJI these days are very good at updating their firmware, new features down the line. That's where you're going to see differentiation appear. With white label products, you'll probably get an initial firmware release that works mostly, and then you're going to be left with it as it is. But if it's cheaper, then there is a potential benefit. Where it doesn't make sense is when it's the same price, and that's going to be the interesting one for the Mini.
They're too close. Well, the Air is too close, and I don't think DJI wants to sell a $300 drone. Like, I don't think they do. They moved off the Air 2 SE pretty quick. The Mini 3 is hard to find. They want that Mini 4 Pro to be their entry level drone. It's a great drone, but it's more than most people need.
Well, do you think they are stepping in then? Go on, live unboxing. Do you think they are stepping in to the other to wipe out the lower end completely? Just they would wipe out the Fumis and all the other. They'd all be gone on, wouldn't they? If that is where you think it's going to be.
Yeah. I mean they could, but they haven't. They could have already, right? Like that's something that they could have been doing, but they just they don't care. Like, how many mini drones does Xiaomi produce? Like, they just don't care because they still own the market. So we'll see, maybe.
Well, I think to an extent the markets, especially the consumer drone market's probably shrinking quite quickly, and times are tight for everybody. Money's hard to get hold of. It could be a different DJI gateway drug way in, but it's very interesting. Congratulations on being the first person to have one, and well, thanks for agreeing to talk to us about it.
Thanks.
I know what I wanted to do. What I wanted to ask you about: how did you activate it? Or does it need activating?
It does, right? That was actually the problem with the first drone that I was sent that didn't work. I could not activate it. It was some incompatible firmware, whatever. I go to activate and it would say, check your network, whatever. Like, oh, that's a known problem. I'll send you a new one. And then, just like, I log in, I set up a Specta account, just like you would to create a DJI account. And then it goes to their servers and activates, and it's
because there's some conjecture that is actually going direct and it's DJI that's activating it, and the firmware also has the new DJI encryption on it as well. So I don't know, not seen it, I've not looked at this, but
another way to tell is it sending out the aeroscope packets?
Well, that's what's being encrypted now. Yeah.
As far as we're aware, there is literally no difference.
And they're the new encrypted ones, though, aren't they? They're the new encrypted ones.
Yeah, the IP numbers in the same group as
at the end of the day.
Yeah. So they haven't removed anything. With regards to the NFC system, you can't unlock. It's there, but none of the fly safe unlocks or anything work with DJI. There's no unlock facility. It's like the software's there, but it just doesn't work.
So. DJI missed an opportunity there, because if I was DJI, I'd just troll the hell out of everyone by actually not having aeroscope in it.
I was hoping, right? So I took this thing to a spot where I'm like, all right, well, because normally where I fly, it's not an issue, right? So I'm like, all right, well, I know where there is an issue. I'm going to go there, and fingers crossed, like this would be awesome. Let's go. And no, it didn't fly. But I was at Lou Malnati's Pizza, which is fantastic. Outside of Chicago, deep dish. Like, hey, that's what I'm gonna do now. So, but
fair enough, fair play. I mean, you can't say fairer than that. I can't say fairer than that. Oh, and obviously now we all need to see that. You now need to make a video of that pizza, having proclaimed so much about it now. We need evidence, hard evidence. We know the drone exists. We know it's probably DJI. We don't actually know the pizza exists now. That's
the pizzas. It's the real deal.